Voters are set to head to the polls in Ohio and Indiana next week as primaries get underway for the midterm elections. The races are a key test of former President Trump's influence over the Republican Party as it aims to take back control of the House and Senate. ABC News political director Rick Klein joining me now for more on what to watch for. First of all, I can't believe the time is already here, Rick. Where did it go?
You don't get it back. It's true.
I know. It's so true. Okay, former President Trump has campaigned for hillbilly elegy author J.D. Vance in Ohio, a bit of a controversial author, as we know. How significant do you think that is, and what's at stake for both Trump and the party?
Yeah, we know that President Trump has a lot of influence in the party, but just how much? We're going to learn a lot next Tuesday because he has taken his endorsement and bestowed it on one candidate. Now, to be clear, almost all of the Republican candidates love President Trump. They are about as Trumpy as they come. They like to compete with each other about who can claim to be the closest to Trump and his policies. Most of them endorse the big lie and say that the last election was wrongly decided. Some of them even still think it should be overturned now. But J.D. Vance is the one that now has the endorsement, and it puts Trump up against groups including the Club for Growth, Senator Ted Cruz. They've backed another candidate. In fact, the airwaves are still being filled with attack ads that use some things that J.D. Vance has said about Trump against him. So if Trump is able to overcome all of that, it's going to speak very loudly about the future of the Republican Party and his influence in these primaries.
So what do you think about the January 6th assault on the Capitol and, of course, Donald Trump's false claims about the 2020 election in these races, just going back to that volatile day and what has happened ever since, including the massive investigation that's ongoing still surrounding January 6th?
Yeah, it's a big issue in a handful of races, including in Georgia, coming up just a few weeks after Ohio. But maybe more surprising is the number of Republican primary races where it's not an issue, and that's because all of the candidates basically agree, and they all say that the election was stolen, wrongly, falsely, without evidence. They are buying into what former President Trump has been selling for the better part of a year and a half. And look, that's what the Republicans are going to put forward on the playing field. The question is, do voters more generally go with that? Almost certainly the Republican nominee for Senate is going to be someone that endorses the so-called big lie. But the Republican nominee for governor is Governor Mike DeWine, more of a moderate, someone that hasn't bought into Trump and Trumpism in the same way. So there will be a mixed bag, but clearly you're going to have people running for office up and down the ballot on the Republican side who say falsely, wrongly, that the election was stolen.
All right, let's talk now about Indiana and Ohio. As you know, Trump won fairly wide margin in 2020, won both those states. What could these primary results tell you about the direction that they're moving?
Yeah, look, the Democrats would love to be able to make inroads in parts of the heartland in the Midwest, Ohio in particular. That's a state that Barack Obama won twice. Indiana, he won once. And the idea of being able to come back in those states and win a Senate race, say, is going to be a big issue for Democrats. Tim Ryan, the congressman from the Youngstown area in Ohio who briefly ran for president back in 2020, he looks like he's going to be the Democratic nominee. Maybe give them a chance at a comeback, but I've been talking to Democrats in that state that are pretty realistic about where their party stands, and they're not ready to pop any champagne bottles about a big rural or Midwestern comeback.
That sounds really good this weekend, popping a little champagne. You're going to guide us through the election season. We're popping the champagne for that for sure. You are our main guy. So what other key races are on the horizon? What are you looking at, Rick?
Yeah, looking at some of these races that are coming up, they're fascinating, Kira, because you do have candidates who are competing with each other to see how close they can be to former President Trump. So the number of candidates who are endorsing the so-called big lie is a big issue. And ultimately, this is likely to come down for a battle for the Senate. And as much of a structural advantage as the Republicans have in a midterm year, they are fighting in more states that they currently hold than in places they can go on offense. So they need to hold the states that they currently have, plus pick up a couple of one or two states like an Arizona, like a Georgia. That means battling and beating an incumbent. The kind of candidates that the primaries will generate could have a lot to say about whether that's realistic.
All right, Rick Klein, thank you so much.
Thanks, Kira.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.